Aha, Stalking the Wild Dragonfly. I love this. And it is the title of a new book by our next guest, Nancy Rivest Green. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Sandy.
This is the cutest title, Stalking the Wild Dragonfly. Why did you call this book that?
Well, because to see nature, you have to get out into nature.
Right.
And so I like to think of, I'm privileged to get that window into animals' lives, but you have to get out there. So
and
you have to stop.
Sort of stop them.
That's right.
We're so clever now. You are sort of wearing all kinds of dragonfly stuff as well. So is this sort of a totem or something of your
Well, it's just such a special creature, and it's one of the few insects that I really feel is sentient, that can really understand us and as human beings.
Interesting.
That we are separate from it.
And you kind of experienced that when
I did. One of my stories, yep.
So this is a collection of nature stories.
That's correct. I was fortunate. My adult life was spent living at the Grand Canyon. So I had all these wonderful animal encounters. So what I did was I wrote up the encounters as sort of literary storytelling, but that wouldn't have been interesting or compelling for a reader. So I put in a lot of scientific research about each animal, so that the reader can read
with it too, and then your experiences with them.
Yes.
And then the sketches are beautiful. Did you do the sketches?
I did not. I am not that talented. This is artist Val Jessie O'Feeney. She lives in Williams, and she's had a fascinating life herself. And she did the artwork, the cover, and the work for my novel as well, my previous work.
This is wonderful. Okay, so this just came out not too long ago, did it? Stalking
the book came out in November.
Okay, so it is on the market now, Stalking the Wild Dragonfly. Information on the screen where you can get it. Also, is it on Amazon? Or
it's on Amazon.
Okay.
It's at Peregrine Books here locally.
Good.
I did an author event at Peregrine.
Well, and you mentioned a novel now here, On the Brink of Shards. Now, this is more
That's my
like
previous work.
Is this like archaeological fiction or
something?
Yes,
it's a prehistoric adventure novel that takes place in the Four Corners region.
Okay, and so you did a lot of research. Are you also an archaeology fan?
My husband, who actually co-wrote a few of the stories in Dragonfly, his career was with the National Park Service, and his first posting was at Walnut Canyon, which is about 10 miles east of Flagstaff, and that's an archaeological site. So we used to ruin every weekend by going to visit Indian ruins.
That's very clever. So have you written before? Have you been writing for a long time?
Well, my career, I was a school librarian for Grand Canyon schools, so I've been surrounded by books and authors. And I didn't plan to write books when I retired, but it just sort of evolved.
I think there's a book in everyone, but not everyone actually writes it.
I think that's true. I have had people, there was a man in Bisbee at my Bisbee author event who pushed me into a corner and spent 15 minutes telling me his animal stories. So everyone has an animal story. It's just that
and once they hear yours, then they get excited about
they want to tell theirs. I just wrote them down. That's the only difference.
Well, they're such a part of our world, and sometimes I think as humans we don't appreciate them, we don't get close to them, we don't understand that they are every bit as ecologically important as we are.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it
in their way. So how do you feel? You've obviously been out with insects a lot. Your favorite is the dragonfly. We know
that's definitely one of my favorites. But actually, I would love to have a pet ring-tailed cat or a pet fox. Because those are charming creatures too.
Have you've encountered these?
Yes. There's 23 animal stories in this book.
Do you want to tell us a specific one, or read a small passage, or?
Well, let me read a little bit from my concluding chapter, because that kind of sums it up.
Okay.
I fell in love with every single animal I encountered. Okay, maybe not the scorpions. But as I dug deeper into research on each creature, I realized the tenuous strands of life today are being stretched to the limits of, and sometimes beyond, the breaking point. We're approaching 7 billion people on our planet, and we can feel it in the ever-increasing amount of traffic and crowds as we all want to do the same things at the same time in the same places. What must the animals be feeling?
Well, they're getting a little bit claustrophobic as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And again, without respect or understanding of their place in it, they're also very in danger as well.
And many of them are. Many of them, interesting, on the brink of extinction. Our California condor is extremely endangered. And when hunters use lead bullets, the condor, of course, eats the carrion, and it picks through a carcass, and lead bullets shatter into pieces, so they eat the pieces, and that kills them.
And it poisons them.
Yes,
yeah, a very
yes.
big problem. So
Yes.
this is also stalking the wild dragonfly as a bit of an awareness for people in terms of the different animals and insects and their plights as well.
Right. The peregrine falcon almost disappeared due to DDT. You know, there's so many things that we are doing that are impacting their environment.
Wow, this is so neat. I mean, I haven't gotten to read it. This is the first time I've gotten my hands on it, so I do want to read this, Nancy. And then On the Brink, again, I guess that's a worldwide, Amazon.com as well. People can get this.
Yes.
The plot is...
Well, what I did was I did the parallel plots, again, talking about drought, overpopulation, all the same issues that are plaguing us today also were plaguing people back in the 1200
Wow.
AD.
Fabulous.
So,
On the Brink of Shards, I love it. So, two interesting books by Nancy Rivest Green. The novel is out, so this is historical fiction.
yeah,
Gonna have a lot-
prehistorical fiction.
Prehistorical fiction, I love that. I've never said that before. Prehistorical fiction, love it. And then also Stalking the Wild Dragonfly, which is a collection of wonderful stories, and I'm loving these, you know,
art
the
is
illustrations.
fabulous, yeah.
You know, I live in a semi-wild area, if you will, and you know, I looked out my kitchen window and there was a coyote, just a beautiful, beautiful guy standing right in the middle of the road a couple of days ago. And, you know, we have them around us. They don't interfere with us.
No.
Bobcats, foxes, but a wonderful
Yeah.
world that we live in. And this is a really wonderful way to become more aware. Nancy Rivest Green, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right. And book signings. You have one locally or coming up soon?
The next one is at NAU Bookstore up in Flagstaff.
Okay. Thank you. And what day is that?
That is June 27th from noon to 2.
Okay, because you're on tour right now. You are going
Yes,
around.
yes.
Any other Arizona locations?
No, not in the near future.
Not yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, meanwhile, until she comes to your area, you can get the books and you can read these wonderful books. Nancy Rivest Green, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Sandy.
Fascinating, and I'm just loving your whole dragonfly thing. You see that? It just matches beautiful.
It's a theme.
Thank